Royalty music. Some of this really isn't so bad, but that last one, whew, that last one was not great. Hello everybody, how are we? Welcome back to the Academy. We have a new format. Some of you may have seen me fixing this up in one of the various chats. So this is mainly for the YouTube when, you know, the box above me is chat. So if you want to say hello to anybody on YouTube, you'll be appearing there. And that is mainly because we have various champion players that will be coming by and mythical players that will be coming by and joining us tonight. And they offer advice in the chat, so we may as well give it a look, you know. That allows people on YouTube to go back, watch that advice, so I'm not just responding to a mysterious voice in my head for all they know. We have a good show. We have our standard 3 matches. We have the match from Lazar this time is our champion guest commentator. And he has done a match for us. We have a match with one of my personal friends who's played the game only a little. So if I give him extra shit, just ignore me. We also have an extra game submitted last minute by a member of our community, which I'm trying to get, but my internet's being a bit screwy at the moment, so we'll see what happens. I'm sure I can work out a way to do it. What else? Honestly, that's about it. So we've got, at minimum, 4 matches, depending on how I'm feeling after, hours and hours of commentary. We might go look at a few more, just depending on if there's anyone in the community that wants a match analysed. As always, ladies and gentlemen, the channel point redeemable rewards are turned off. I will not play a game with you. I will not do a commentary. Go grab yourself an emote or highlight a message for all I care. Welcome again to the second Academy this time around. And honestly, there's not much to do other than get into it. Now, we're not going to start with lasers. We'll save that. We'll probably run that second. Hey, GR, how are you, my friend? How are you? So, we'll probably go... Alright, our first match, we'll probably go Tesla Forever versus Cadbury. And we've got to make sure to open it with the right goddamn program, or this is going to go real bad. It will eventually pop up, I hope. There we are. It just takes a little while. Alright, one moment. Now, what I learned from last time is we definitely need to make sure that's on 1, and we might even move this a smidge closer. Give me half a second. Again, a boom arm is in the works to try and up audio quality. If I can sit back here with it in front of my face, that's going to be a lot better. Alright, so we have Cadbury in chat. Excellent. So this is his game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will just remind you all, unless you are a champion player, like pushing some type of meta, or like high mithril pushing in a champion and you don't want to be sniped, don't put your profile to private, ever. It doesn't benefit anybody. Okay, just your friendly reminder. Teaching my skillless ass. Hey man, you've beaten me enough times. Come on now. Alright, so this match obviously had some issues with private profiles. Cadbury managed to recover it for me, hence the little recordy thing. That does get moved. It's just for this one match. Eventually, I will teach this community that private profile is a bad thing and you should never have it. Ever, ever, ever. Ever have your profile on private. Alright. With that, basically we're just going to begin. We're going to hop straight into it. We're going to begin analysing their play. And remember, feel free to comment on any plays or any questions you have. I can pause and play this as often as I need to. Alright. Let me just settle on in. It's going to be a long night. Luckily, these games are fairly short this week. I think it's longer on average, but individually shorter. So I can have a few more sips without interrupting the commentary. It's the height of amount of money spent. Alright. So Tesla Forever is running a blue-orange. It's not monovalve because we have taproot worms. Now, running something like Vengeful Heirloom in Valkyries, I mean, if you're going to splash Valkyries, which you shouldn't do, that's fine. It's not a Valkyries deck as far as I'm aware. Again, I do not watch these matches before I do this commentary, so you are seeing the first thoughts and first opinions. I set it to record, and then I fuck off and do other things, usually cook. So, I'm not quite sure where this is going. My first thought, as soon as I see things like that, I do think Valkyrie, but it's got too much that's not... It's a pretty good opening hand. You've got orange to burn for orange, you've got a can henge for your turn 1, then you've got a... What is it? A 3/3 twin fire, essentially, turn 2, which isn't bad at all. You've got rush, you've got loop, you've got trap root for if you have more enchantments, which you should be able to get with rainbow. So, not too bad at all. Cadbury's also got a very decent starting hand. Just looks like sort of purple-blue value at the moment. The only thing I don't like in there is the Field of Poppies. I basically don't think Field of Poppies has place unless you're running very specific sort of like AoE decks, but none of them are really meta. So regardless of that, we've got 2 Sword Saints, which is lovely. I would probably burn one of them to get a Ghost in the System out on curve. We've got Eidolon for curve. We've got Einhar for curve. You could go either way with the blue to the purple. You'd probably go the... It doesn't really matter. It depends on what Tesla plays first. With that on the board, you'd probably look at Thane rather than Ghost, but... Let's see what happens. Hey, thank you very much. Waffle falafel. Jesus Christ, that took a moment to translate. Whew. God damn. All these names, and it's just the second I see them, my ability to read the English language fails. Alright. Tesla going first. He'll burn blue. Burn the Volcanic Rissy. That is a turn 4 on curve. The only other thing you have is a Taproot. Junkyard Valhalla could be more useful. Burn your high value. You are not keeping this in hand. There is no way that this card reaches that. Keep things that you are able to play earlier first. Okay? Burn your high values. Right? Unless you are Necromantic and you are about to disc them into your graveyard. Burn your high values. Okay, Canhenge in the Agile slot. It's blue-orange, so the only Agile you have is the 1-2, or the 2-1 Valkyrie, so that's fine. That gives you sort of central control with a larger minion, so yep. Nice control card. See, Cadbury's got the right idea. He burns the Volcanic Rissy. So they've both gone a 1 enchantment play. Good. He's got the Fragile to compensate for the +1 brought in by Canhenge, which means your Thane is still going to be able to do a lot of... Well, it's going to be able to kill things put there, but it is going to die as a consequence, so I'll be interested to see what he goes. I would probably transition at this point away from Thane and go Ghost, because Ghost will do the same work and you won't lose something as powerful as Thane. I would burn possibly Sword Saint, yeah, and I would Ghost in the System, perfectly done. What does he pull? Whoa, that was quick. Alright, replay system. Could we have a look at what was actually pulled there? Giant Stairway and Frecky Sidecar. And it looks like he's put Frecky Sidecar on top. Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Getting a little rusher onto the field is much better than him having a giant stairway to just replace right when he needs it. You'd put Field of Poppies right in the middle. The reason you wouldn't put Field of Poppies right in the middle is because you're going to have overlap no matter where you put it. You want to put it one off from center. That way he can put the other one here. There, yes. And he'll have all those 6 lanes covered. If he puts it in the middle, even if he puts it over there, he's wasting a lane. There, he's overlapping. So, yeah, he's getting more lanes. Okay, goes for the Vengeful Heirloom. He gets to survive because of it, and now he's got a 5-1 with Frenzy. That's very nice. You could look at doing something like Mutton. I wouldn't. I'd just put a body down. That's decent. He doesn't have the Impel. So, Rogue Eidolon basically isn't anything outside of a combat trick if the enemy deck has Impel. What you can do is if you are on the diagonal or are able to get to the diagonal and strike, you can place it down to essentially trade for nothing. Kill his minion, yours stays on the board. It's essentially a combat trick. It's no different to Dire Benediction, right? Until you start looking at like 2 or 3 turns in advance, and if it survives, and depends on how he's blocking against it, yada yada yada, right? But in a non-impel deck like this, it is an incredibly powerful card. It's very interesting in that Rogue Eidolon definitely has 2 different states to it. 2 different mindsets, and it all depends on the power they have. So it doesn't have Impel, that's fantastic. I prefer in the middle control lanes 3 and 5. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can put it in the middle to block there and there, but I'm still going to prefer more board coverage, especially seeing as he is going to have a lot of enchantments. You're going to need to cover as much of the board as you can with things that'll compensate for some of the buffs he's going to get. Alright, draws a Valkyrie Enforcer. So he could bounce that with Valkyrie if he wanted to. It's more likely he'll just put something like a Thane there and hope he doesn't have an enchantment. If he's not going to pray for the enchantment, he'll go a Sword Saint. Just hands. He could Field of Poppies to get that coverage going and Sword Saint. It won't keep his boy alive, but he could Field of Poppies and Einhar, which would keep his boy alive. But again, that's if he's hoping that there's no... Oh, does he go for the Impel and the Swing? No, because he swung there. What am I doing? I mean, I get that in that he's trying to back up this. If this is somehow taken out by, like, Frecky Sidecar or something, or in some way combat tricked to survive, like we've seen him do, because he does know he has the Vengeful Heirloom in hand. Yeah, okay, getting that to within the blast range, he doesn't have the Impel. Sure, I'm actually not against that in the slightest. That's a reasonable move. Considering that's the only buff we know... Whoa, okay, settle down. Didn't know I could do that. Considering that's the only buff we know of, he could have risked the Field of Poppies and just that, because that still would have been in kill range. But, considering that it is Rainbow, it's more reasonable to go a safer approach. Right? So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's Blast 3, it's a large blast value. The problem is he is taking damage each time on that second Frenzy hit. Gets a giant stairway. Ooh! It's that spicy shit. Very nice. Gets the health pool a little more even, clears that off. He goes for a Field of Poppies. Okay. I will just stress this again. Field of Poppies isn't a great card. Unless you're specifically working with it. You're just polluting your enchantment field at this point. I would much rather draw a Can Henge 100% of the time. It's not. It's newer blue players. They see it. It's 3 lanes of Fragile. Absolutely. You don't need it. I would have rather drawn a Can Henge, which has a better effect than Field of Poppies. Because Field of Poppies is essentially just a +1/+0 to your minion that is attacking. Right? The only difference is when it comes in with, like Cadbury is saying here, a lot of AoE. We're talking Fort Lightnings, we're talking Thunderbolts, we're talking... Thunderclap, Maelstrom, etc., right? That is when it comes in. So, yeah, absolutely. If your deck is centered around that, absolutely, get that. Tesla's isn't. Very obviously it's not, so I would remove it from Tesla's. If this is what Cadbury wants to be doing with his deck, sure, absolutely. Oh, I'm sure we'll pick it up, my friend, and that's alright. Mistakes are what we're here for. We're here to learn from these things. We're here to pick up the advice. He gets a Trap Root down on Field of Poppies, so that is essentially a 7/6 at this point. And to continue my earlier point, Field of Poppies is a +1/+0. Cadbury is a +1/+1. If you're not doing AoEs, that is just a straight up better 1 and blue, right? Continue. Alright, we've got Cataclysm. That's pretty. I have a feeling that's probably what you're going to fuck up. A lot of people forget that it hits everything. Okay, beautiful. Metamorphosis. Perfect target. Wow, that song is really loud, isn't it? Give me a moment. Alright, let's just make sure the voice is always the predominant thing here. Alright, gets a Xerxes Sympathizer down. This feels like a little bit of whatever I have. It also feels just a little bit like... I mean, I get what he's doing. He's going, let's take Zealot Rebel. Let's chuck it on some blue enchantments. Tap Roots to fill up some, like, high-end, because I'm going to have these enchantments anyway. And Frecky Sidecar allows me to rush in, like... I have a Xerxes Sympathizer out, I drop a Xerxes Sympathizer, cool, rush all these things in, right? That's probably the best Mutton I've ever seen play. Taproot is extremely vulnerable to it. You see a 6/6, you're like, there is no way that's in Mutton range. It 100% is, and it's fantastic doing. It's one of the slight issues with Taproot, because any sort of cost or power-based, it can be removed fairly easily. A lot more removal hit it than a lot of other 6/6s, for example. Alright, we get a freaky sidecar down, so that gets to rush straight through, that gets to rush through, and he gets hit with a sheep. Mate, death by sheep, let's do this. Valkyrie Enforcer doesn't help us a ton. Tarragons aren't bad. Tarragons will force a fairly large trade here. He could pretty much ignore the sheep, go here, and that way he's out of Field of Poppies. The Field of Poppies also 100% should have gone here. And an Impel and Blast would also clear this. He'll take some damage from it, but it's not enough to not justify doing it. You could even Biting Blade if you wanted to. There's all sorts of things that are possible here. In fact, yeah, like So What's saying, he's actually got enough to do both if he burns. And I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. Oh no, he goes for the Biting Blade. Interesting, okay. Yeah. It probably would have been better to just ignore the Biting Blade. 2 health is 2 health. You'd move it over, swing, you burn, you'd have 5, you'd go Tarragon on the Giant Stairway. Whereas this turn, you've wasted 4 mana. As Alexandra is sort of saying there, got to look at maximizing things, right? Maximize your presence on the board in a trade. Maximize the amount of minions you have on the board, even if you're not trading. Maximize the amount of mana you've spent in a turn. Always be burning if you can afford to. Don't ever leave that much floating, you know? 2 health isn't worth it. Biting Blade and you have Tarragons in hand, hold your Biting Blade. Right? Okay, goes a Vengeful Heirloom. Oh god, it's a 3/2 sheep. Death by 3/2 sheep! Also, technically, cost the Biting Blade, which is very useful for later swings. Yeah. Yeah. But that's right. This is what we're here to learn. Right? The best players are the ones that can learn from their mistakes. Right? This is why I say, never surrender unless your opponent literally has lethal on the board for next turn. And there's nothing you can do about it. Because every mistake, every match you get absolutely hammered in, you're going to learn more than just wiping some dude off the board. We get another Twin Fire Zealot. He's been really lucky with these draws, but he just gets to move that across. Eidolon with Impel from the center can reach every space in the board. Just so everybody knows that, you can hit every space in the board. It bounces the sheep, which kills it. Good idea. You've got some spare mana, but again, almost would have liked to see a Tarragon instead. A sheep doesn't matter that much. Mind you, that does get rid of the Vengeful Heirloom, so there is a benefit there as well. Sandscape. So I imagine this deck has Earthslide in it somewhere, but at the moment, now you're doing too many things. You've got Sandscapes in there, you've got these enchantments in there, you've got Field of Poppies, you've got Zealot Rebel synergy, you've got, Rush, you've got Taproot Worms. I would get rid of the desert side of things. I would cut the blue enchantments down to just Canhenge, Demolition Heights, Speedway, and Giant Stairway. And then I would add Zealots on top of that if you wanted to stick with the deck. You're about to miss lethal. Oh, yes. Good. Let's go. Okay. He plays down the Junkyard Valhalla. I feel like he could have played that down a couple of turns earlier to get some additional value from it. Again, I can't check the graveyard. Just a limitation of the format, I'm afraid. I suppose what I should do, just thinking about the format quickly, is go and check if the match is still in their replays first and use that. It's probably not a bad idea. We get a Tarragon down on Field of Poppies, which is the fragile against the Junkyard Valhalla. Absolutely great. If anything, he could have put the Junkyard Valhalla somewhere over here, just replaced it. Like, who cares about a desert when, you need to... Yeah. And he should have used the Cataclysm. Yes, that was lethal. That's okay. You miss lethal sometimes. You're like, that's a minion. I have to get a minion down. I just hope you do it now. This should be lethal. Cataclysm? Nope. He goes for the Pearl. He goes for... Oh, that's lethal regardless. But yeah. Okay. Not too bad at all. I'll give Cadbury his winner screen. Very nicely done, my good sir. Let me get my notepad up. Mark down who won that. And that's Tesla with 1 pack. All right. What was the turning point? What made you win that? Because you could have won it a lot easier, a lot earlier. Playing your Terragon here would have ended the game a turn earlier, if not 2. You missed a lethal at the end there with Cataclysm, which you need to... You just need to pay attention to that. Again, I said it last Academy, rule 1 is go and check out everything on the board and everything in your hand. Look at health total, look at path, look at power, check rules. You're looking for Slayer, you're looking for Fragile, you're looking for any zany little effects that affect just the base values. If you'd taken just a little bit longer to go and look, you would have seen like, oh shit, he's only got 5 health, the Cataclysm will finish it. Right? Where did this swing for Tesla? Where this swung for Tesla was he got no card draw all game. There was no cards in hand, and he doesn't have Turn of Seasons making up for it. Like, Cadbury got not even that low. He got to 3s and 4s occasionally. A lot of that's because he spent a couple of turns just not burning mana. But Tesla definitely ran out. He probably needs some sort of Brainstorm or a Parry at the Gates. If you're running orange, Parry at the Gates is a mandatory card. You know those Sandscapes you have in your deck? Take what I imagine is 2 of them out. Put that in. Parry at the Gates. You need card draw. If you don't have Turn of Seasons, you need stuff, right? It's really unfortunate that this survived as long as it did. That did a lot of work for you, and sometimes that's just how Eidolon can be. If you don't have removal for Eidolon, Eidolon could stack up value really, really quickly, especially in a deck where you're not having a ton of synergies and the values are staying fairly low. It's just able to blast and sweep things. The Vengeful Heirloom's nice. I don't see it played enough. It's a decent card, especially on... I think it's especially good on like synergy decks where just values start stacking up higher and higher and higher, and then you've essentially just got a looping value generator, right? And yeah, at the end there, you just drew enchantment after enchantment, and like a useless thing there. Did you play that into a... Yes, you did. Okay, yeah. There's not a lot you can do there. As soon as he draws and it's a Sandscape, you've lost. That's where it lost there. Okay, there you go. Laser would rather play an additional enchantment than an heirloom. There you go. Fair enough. In Rainbow, you also want Divination for card draw, so like Ifrit. Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, he was definitely just trying to use it to get the enchantments to help maybe a Zealot synergy. Mind you, we didn't see anything outside of Sympathizer and Twinfire. I'd love to like have a chat with him, see if it's a case of it's just what I had, or if this is an idea he's had. Either way, it's not terrible. It definitely needs some tweaks. Yeah, I think that's about all I have for that one. It's good to see you do have some sort of larger removal in there, even if it's just a 1-off or a 2-off. You've got Cataclysm for reach. Yeah, if you want to stick with that deck, mate, I don't know if you have enough to justify Field of Poppies in that. I'd almost just prefer, like, any other cards. But if it's a case of it's kind of what you have, like, if you don't have things like Perfect Grade in there, and you have it, Daikoju Supreme, God of Gamers, etc., that's where you'd start removing, is Field of Poppies. Everything else in that deck is pretty good card. Like, I'm not opposed to it at all. I think getting rid of Giant Stairway with Ghost helped me a lot. Okay. Oh, right. Yes, early on. Yeah, absolutely. If he'd had that generating value early on something like this, would have been a lot bigger problem for you. 100%. This blast wouldn't have been lethal. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Giant Stairway was a great pick. And he just didn't see one. He just didn't see another, which is super unfortunate for him. By the time he started seeing enchantments that increase his minions' value, he was receiving no minions, which is again like, don't have Field of Poppies, don't have Sandscape, and you're gonna draw enchantments or minions that will help you instead, right? It's just a matter of refinement in his deck and yours, and you are just, my main tip would just be slow down and read just a little bit more, work out some maths in your head, and maximize your mana expenditure. Apart from that, I think your plays were good. You definitely know how to use your Eidolon, which is always nice. You see a lot of newer players messing up Eidolon. So yeah, not too bad at all. Very nicely done, my good sir. Alright, that is match 1. Wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. Definitely better than some of the matches we had last week, like Additional, who just schooled his opponent. Whew. Whew. And yeah, definitely if you aren't doing Tesla, if you're watching this, my friend, if you aren't doing Rebel Zealot synergy in that, Orange-Blue is better served with things like Parry at the Gates, Serendipity Ifrit is a 4/4 body with Divination, which allows you to like filter enchantments to the top, so Rainbow pulls them so that you're drawing multiple cards in a turn. Gives you a ton of stuff, because you no longer have to have like Twin Fires and Xerxian Sympathizers in there, right? And yeah, even in Rebel Synergy, as so what's saying, like, Ifrit's just a good card. It's a 4/4 body with Divination tied to it. Alrighty. Next, I think we're going to go to Laser. Much the same as last week. I will play the video. We will pause it when I feel like I need to interject with something, but apart from that, we are pretty much going to let him have a go of it. He did a lot of takes trying to get this to me, so thank you very much, my friend. Let me know if it's too quiet or too loud. I will probably turn off the music just because we are listening to recordings on recordings on recordings at this point. Hey, Deadfall, how are you, my friend? And we will see how this goes. Now, let me get this up. See how many times.
Hello.
Come on.
Hello, Laser here.
There we go. Alrighty. Does have a little bit of background noise. That is alright. That's okay, my friend. Always room for improvement at another time. Let me know if it's too loud or quiet. And we will... I'll probably turn that up there. We'll see what happens. So this is Veryl versus...
Hello, Laser here. For commenting the Academy for Creative Jam. We are watching Arcanum against Veryl. Let's first delve into the decks. So Arcanum is playing a Valkyrie deck. It's probably the best meta aggro deck at the moment. And it's also a very good deck to start learning the game with, as it's both pretty cheap and while it's very hard to play perfectly, it's quite easy to just... Well, it's very aggressive, so you just have to really learn the early turns correctly. And once your first few turns are solid, you will have a decent shot at the deck. So I think it's a very good choice for starting with. Veryl, on the other hand, is playing something that is not a meta deck that I know of.
Just quickly, I definitely think, like you're saying, Valkyrie is very strong. The biggest weakness of Valkyrie is if your board gets cleared, it's very hard to catch back up. Because you're now dealing with sort of mid to low strength minions that really require you playing a few of them out to have strength. So if you are ever versing Valkyries, finding it tough, need to learn how to play against Valkyries, trade to keep their board clear. Even if it leaves you with nothing on board and them with a minion on board, if you can keep the synergies from going off, you'll be able to catch up and have a lot easier go of it. Same pretty much for Canines. It's just Canines are way more vulnerable to locational AoE, like Fort Lightning, Maelstrom, etc. Continuing. I have turned it down a bit, Deadfall. I hope that's a bit better.
But it doesn't look bad. It's a red purple which you usually see in pretty aggro deck, but it seems to be a more mid-rangey or even control deck, as Peritoe indicates. And it ran Infuse, which you would think indicates aggression, but red purple is a color with very good rush minions that can clear the board, so I'm thinking Trapezist Witch here. But I'm also thinking Racer and Shadow, which should be in the deck. I assume it is, but if it's not in the deck, it should really be in the deck because it works really well with Infuse. And the only really surprising card here is Night Market, which usually see more in either Rainbow deck or some disc deck, which use it as a value generation engine discard fodder. But it's also pretty good here. I don't think it's a bad choice because you can run Shop One Bull in purple red, and so you can use Shop One Bull to discard your Night Market cards.
That's just about the only use of Night Market in red purple, I would think. Occasionally you might be able to get a tricky play with like a Ramen being able to move over if you have Impel, but you don't. Yes, I did, so Waltz, thank you. The only real use of that is with a Shopworn Bull, and even then I would prefer to just do things like Squire Pikes, because you can now just generate Squire Pikes as well. Like I don't like it in red purple. You definitely want to go more into the aggression side of things, even if it's an aggressive control-y deck. That's still a bit slow, personally for me. If someone said to me, "QWERTY, build me a red purple deck," that would not even be near the list of potential cards.
And get real card draw from it, so it's a pretty good engine to have in your deck. So yeah, this looks like a control-y mid-rangey deck, and this doesn't look bad at first glance.
Alexandra, I will build you the trolliest deck.
So let's delve into the game.
Starts with a Mind Freak.
Okay, so Veril first Mind Freaks, which is a good idea. And, well, it doesn't see the Freaky Scout here, so because Arcanum just draw it. But if he had seen the Freaky Scout, it would have been a very good Mind Freak target, because cancelling the first turn of an aggro deck is kinda annoying for them. Arcanum is pretty lucky to get the Freaky Scout here now. If you can't stop the early game of an aggro deck with the Mind Freak, Veril does the right call of targeting a finisher. So here it chooses Freaky Sidecar, which is going to be a finisher for the deck, so targeting it will make Arcanum having more trouble to close the game.
Absolutely.
A probably better option would have been Troll, which actually tends to...
Troll, and I don't mean this as a joke, is the trolliest card in the game. I have lost so many games to I can just teleport wherever I want. Bye. It's fucking amazing. It's really funny because when I first played the game, people were sleeping on it, people didn't like it, and it's now just... It's so good. It's so good. It's not usable in something like K9 because everything has to be clumped together, but in something like this, we can just scatter them to the four corner of the winds, and it doesn't matter outside of Frecky Sidecar. It's amazing. It's amazing. Something else you can pair with it, which I'm fairly sure I see there, is a Foe Scrim. Just more free movement, which is fantastic. And it's all about exactly what I said earlier, in that this deck loses if you can clear its board. You can't clear its board if you can't fucking pin his board down, because he's got free movement and is zipping all over the place. Right? Yes, he might let you get in 10 damage in the early game, but when he's got 7/7 minions that he then teleports to the other side of the board and fucking got all Father Horns, it doesn't matter anymore. Right? Doesn't matter if you win on 1 health or 41 health. And you probably only played in mono blue too, still. Oh, yeah. It's only a mono blue thing, or it's a very heavy blue with a splash. It's really only super viable in mono blue. Which, for Valks,
Come out
because Valks is weakened by every splash you ever do to it.
earlier than Frecky Sidecar, because Sidecar is usually played with something else. And since Verwil doesn't really have any solid early game here, he just has Trap Assist to clear the board a bit, and aside from that, he's very defenseless. So it's very possible that the board will fill out, and Troll is a finisher can really ignore blockers in turn 4 or 5. And so it's going, if you don't have defensive against Valkyrie, it's going to be a more dangerous card as an early finisher than Sidecar is.
Finisher, Preserver.
Sidecar is going to be dangerous if you actually survive until then. So I would probably have Mind Freak the Troll, but Sidecar was a right idea.
The problem is he did have 2 really good high synergy sort of finisher cards. Frecky and Troll, it just depends on which card you hate more, really.
General idea.
Troll is harder to deal with.
Here, Arcanum plays Frecky Scat on lane 3, which is not ideal, because when you play a Swift minion and you have Impel, you want to play it in the middle. The reason is that a normal minion will cover 3 lanes, which it can attack. A Swift minions can move and cover 5 lanes, and if you have Impel and you play right in the middle, you actually cover the entire board. So you really want to play your Swift minion in the middle lane, and because if you don't, you actually reduces your presence on the board, which is not ideal.
Always. Swift in the middle, Lurker in the 2 sides, Defender there and there for Lurker minions. When I say Defender, I mean any minion that you are prepared to sacrifice to protect a Lurker minion, and these are basically just open slots for whatever the hell you want.
So, yeah. Varial here plays Trap Assist offensively, which, as we said, he is not playing a very aggressive deck. And Arcanum already has the advantage. He already has the board, so really you don't want to do that Trap Assist. You actually want to trade with it to reduce the pressure on you. Because Valkyrie, you always want to play defensively with it. Basically, with all deck, because Valkyrie is faster than you. It's basically a general rule of Mythgard. Valkyrie is faster than you, so you don't want to try to raise them. And here is going to try.
Yeah. So Watts and Laser and me, we're all saying the same thing. Yes, you 100% have to against this deck. You have to trade in and kill that.
But Arcanum does blocks Trap Assist. You would actually want to play it away from the Trap Assist stuff to pressure Variel more, Here, Veril can just infuse and trade on the Tough, which, since it doesn't have good plays at the moment, is even better for him, because
Valkyrie probably doesn't want to trade till turn 3 or 4.
Being given a good play to keep control of the game by Arcanum. So this stuff really should be on lane 1 and putting pressure on Veril. Also, he moved the Scott in an even worse position, because on lane 3 he did control 5 lane, and with the Tough it controlled the entire board. And here on lane 2 he is actually only controlling 2 lane. Well, he can impel, but this costs mana, so without using mana he controls only 4 lane, and well, this still controls the entire board, but this does reduce the presence of the Freki Scout on the board, which you, as I said, you don't want to reduce your presence on the board. So
it's a great way of thinking of it. I always just think of it as you have more alleys of escape, but it is. Swift is you control 4 lanes. Swift Impel is you control 5 lanes, right? So yeah, absolutely. Well, no, it's 5 with Swift, and then it's all of them if you're in center with Swift and Impel. I mean, think of it that way if that's what helps you remember. Right? And yeah, Baba Yaga, Premier, 2/6 defender that can heal itself. Or 2/6 that can heal itself and turn itself defender with, and can just control every area of the game. It's fantastic. Oh no, my highly valuable minion is in danger. Let me just go near it and then defend. Bye.
Really, should have left it in lane 3 at this point, because the Tough is already controlling the right side of the board. So
or just moved it into the middle in prep.
Lane 3 means you can you do control the world board without having to impel, which is pretty good. So here I'm assuming there is going to infuse. Yeah, there is no really other play.
Yeah, there's no other play there. You don't want a Night Market. Night Market's a dead card in his hand right now.
So
it'll be the next burn.
Tough and put Carnage. Yeah. So he does realize that he has more presence here. So he plays the Carnage and he's having a very good board presence here. Now at this point in the game, it's pretty dangerous to deal with.
See, but Magmator's not going to be great, though. Magmator isn't great against a Valkyrie deck that plays on curve. Because if a Valkyrie deck has played on curve and played synergies, everything's out of Magmator range. It doesn't care. Like, that Road Queen just took everything but a Freki Scout out of Magmator range. Who cares? Right? That's the problem.
So what he decides to do is to play the sorry, my throat hurts a bit, but yeah, what he decides to do is to play the Road Queen to get a good trade with the Sword Saint. Alternatively, he could have played the Bridge Wedge roll and switch the Tough and the Scott, which would have been less immediate damage, but would set up the troll. But coming into a Magmator turn, it's not really ideal. So really, I think this was the right play. This was actually a pretty good play. And did I win?
I think either could have been fine. Because if you're bringing that across and swinging instead with the Troll Teleport, that's 4 bodies on the board. Yes, that's 2 health. That's full health. The Magmator comes in, kills that instead. Yeah. But then you've got a Troll to make up for it. It's not too bad. Either way.
Else? No, I think I wanted to say something earlier, but I lost it. It's okay. So yeah, if he did what I suggested, it would have been just Magmatoad on his troll, which is not ideal.
See, Valkyries just don't care about damage.
So
Yeah,
here
you can do as much as you want.
Troll. Alternatively, you could actually just Magnus and clear the Magmator and still put the same amount of pressure while keeping Troll. But this does set up Troll, and as you can see, it also plays around Gigantomachia, so this is a pretty solid option to just play Troll here. And this setup's lethal for the next turn. Okay, so Arcanum missed lethal here. He could have just used his troll ability and switch after attacking with the troll, switch with the Road Queen and just deal 6 more damage.
Let's double check.
And clear the Magmator and still put the same amount of pressure while keeping troll. So solid option to lethal for the next turn.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
100%.
so Arcanum missed lethal here. He could have just used his troll ability and switch after attacking with the troll, switch with the Road Queen and just deal 6 more damage and win here. So yeah, you always want to be aware of being able to switch your troll away from an enchant to put something.
You know what would have done that, chat? Following rule 1. Read your abilities, read the rules.
Something else on the enchant.
Love having a reinforced by champion player.
This is actually a pretty big mistake too from Veril. You don't want to, let me rewind a bit. You don't want to use a Biting Blade to attack a 1 health minion. So the reason is that you'll only regain 1 health instead of the 4 health of the attack of the minion. So clearing Road Queen is obviously the right play here. But you want to use the Biting Blade on
him.
On the Chimera, the Slayer Chimera. Okay, there is another mistake here. Yeah, you want so that it regains 4 life instead of only 1. So it would be on 5 health here, which is a lot more acceptable than 2 health. And he did play the Terragon here to block the troll. He's going to Pearl it, but he's hoping to block the 2 card with the Terragon. But really, you should trade with the Magmator here, cause like even with just what's on the board, Arcanum has lethal. He can just activate his troll ability and moves the scout on either lane 1 or lane 5, and then moves the troll on another lane close to the minion that is blocking the scout and just kill the minion with.
Yeah, so Laser pointed this out in that he goes on about this for a little bit, but he then later realised after the recording it doesn't really matter. Even if we take out that Magnus is there, which would help him clear, you could Pearl on the Magmator, trade the Magmator, right? So it would even survive. You wouldn't even trade the damn thing. Pearl is 1/1, yes. You'd keep that, but then Magnus would just come down. Or Frecky comes out because he knows Frecky's there. Frecky is enough to take care of that. So there is nothing at this point. Arcanum has the win. There is nothing in hand that would have helped here, including trading this Magmatorin that Laser's talking about.
With the Scott, and then hit for 2 with Scott, and he has lethal. So
yeah, and Speedway would do it as well, overrun.
Without seeing what's in his opponent's hand,
he's literally got 3 different ways of ending this, and Veril literally can see one of them.
He knows the opponent has lethal. He actually knows that the opponent has a sidecar, so another lethal route is to just kill, trade the troll into the Terragon, leaving it at 1 health, and then just trade sidecar into it, killing it, and then he can hit for free. So yeah, you don't want to not trade when you know your opponent has lethal, but even not seeing the lethal routes, not lethal routes.
Is he insane?
Yeah, even not seeing the lethal, you don't want to just assume your opponent has nothing when you are on 2 health. That's a bit...
trade on your terms!
He should just have made sure his opponent was forced to trade with Troll and keep the Terragon.
If it's not there, he can't combat trick it.
So, yeah, he's going to probably die next turn. So yeah, the opponent plays Magnus here and trade him. Yeah. So here was the game. As you see also, if he actually did what I suggested earlier, attacked with the 4, regen 4 health with Biting Blade, he would actually not have died here from the Scat, so that's another reason why it was important. So yeah, that was the game. It was a pretty interesting game. It showed a lot of basics of positioning, so I hope it was interesting and the commentary was on point. Also, I didn't talk about it, but yeah, there's the shop World that I was talking about earlier. So the deck looks good. It's really about positioning and defending against the pressure of a Valk deck that is going to improve play. So it's a lot of not knowing the matchup, I think, and that's usually very important, to know when you have to play defensively and when you can afford to be offensive and race your opponent. But yeah, anyway, I'm leaving it to credit to Jam. Thanks for having me on the Academy, and have a nice day.
And there we go. I just want to say thank you to Laser for coming along and commentating that for us. That was fantastically done, my good sir. It's awesome to see my rules for newer players get reinforced by like champion players in their own words, but fantastic. It means I'm not completely losing my mind. Look, with that game, apart from the misplays that we've talked about, the missing of lethal, etc., additionally, Veril's deck didn't quite draw as well as it needed to against something like a Valkyrie. That was an extremely meta Valkyrie list. Like that, I would say that's probably not missing many cards outside of Mythics. And it was played reasonably well. The thing I'm glad we've had this opportunity to talk about Valkyries, how to play it and how to play against it. Hey, Arcanum, you literally just missed your match. You literally just missed your game. It literally just ended. Damn you, sir. Damn you. So I was just going on to say, I'm glad you were playing Valkyries so we've had a chance to talk about it. As Valkyries, you don't care about damage. Oh no, I've taken 10 damage to face. You do not care. Do not put things opposite Daring Trapezists to trade. Don't do any of that crap. It's all about getting bodies on the board with those synergistic abilities. Because then, once you've got 4 6/6s on the board, you don't care about Magmatours anymore. You don't care about a fucking Trapezist. Because you now just have huge bodies on the board and then you troll them and your opponent is dead. Right? Whereas, it doesn't matter if you are playing the rushiest of rush red decks, you have to play the defensive. You are now a control deck, and your minions are control cards. Enjoy. Against Valkyries. Because if you can keep their synergies from working together, if you can make it so that only one Valk is on the board at a time, you have won the game. Valkyries don't come back from that shit. Right? It's why, especially with Valkyries, playing around Misanthropia the second you see yellow is super goddamn important. Because if you get all your boys ready, if you're looking at Allfather's Horn or Troll or something, you're like, awesome, ready to end the game, and then your entire board is wiped by Misanthropia, you're fucked. There is no coming back from that unless you are very lucky or your opponent is out of cards. Alright? So it's good we've had this chance to talk about it. Very happy that was one of the matches that was submitted. Alright, fantastic. And again, thank you to Laser. I love that we have some champion and partners in the community coming on board to help out with this. I'm really hoping we get some more. There's only really 2 at the moment that have stepped forward. So if you really like any of the content producers for Mythgard, reach out. Say, hey man, I'd love to see you on the Academy sometime. That would be a huge help. Alright. We've got one more match left for the official matches. I will just make note of who won there. Give me a moment. Arcanum gets his 2 packs. Woo! And Veril gets 1. Just for showing up and playing. If anyone else needs encouragement to, come along and play, give it a shot. Yeah. I mean, certainly could. Oh, Laser, man. Listening to yourself is always, and I do mean this, always the worst. Alright? It took me many years of doing this stuff, because I did this a few years back for a different game, this sort of thing. It took a few years to get the energy and work all that out, so it's you're not just listening to yourself like, you are the least charismatic person on this planet. Shut up, I hate you. While listening to yourself. And you'll never get used to your own voice. It just doesn't happen. Alright, we have one more match. Now, before we begin this match, which is Psyche versus Calnus. Calnus is a close personal friend of mine, so if I give him more shit than usual, just please know I'm not just bagging on a random member of the community. It is because the dude is well known to me. We'll wait for this to pop up. Any day now. There we go. Now, we have a red-purple mirror match. Calnus is very new to the game. Funnily enough, one night went bored. We went looking for a card game, me and Calnus. We came across Gods Unchained. We played it for, I don't know, half an hour. Realised it was all this weird cryptocurrency bullshit and that the game was quite literally just Hearthstone and fucking awful. And I'm a stubborn bastard. I'm like, I'll just keep going. And he goes off to look for another game, still in Discord. And he's like, I'm gonna play this Gods Unchained thing. I'm like, yeah, it looks alright. Tell me how it is. He streams it on Discord. I watch for one game and I'm like, alright, I'm installing Gods Unchained, playing Mythgard. And he promptly stopped playing about a week later just because he loved purple and purple was terrible. And I didn't give up on it, and here I am. But with the Academy, he's like, yeah, I'll come back, I'll use it as a chance to learn, get some packs, yada yada yada. So, long story short, his collection is very small, very new. He's kind of thrown together. He's like, what's good with purple? And I'm like, based on your collection, just do some red stuff. So he's thrown together a purple-red, which is really funny, because at pure chance, he's been thrown against a purple-red with someone who, by the looks of it, has way more of a goddamn collection, just judging by the fact that he has 2 mythics in hand. So what I know of this deck is that it's sort of purple, shinobi, some value from Spirit Gate. It's a whatever I have deck. Whereas this, I don't know. Again, I don't watch these matches before the match goes. It's interesting that he's using Rainbow with red-purple. It's not what I would expect. There's not really enough enchantments in purple that are decent to make it worth it. Red, you could be looking at things like Carnival. Yeah, sure. Orpheum, maybe if you wanted to. It just depends. And the only way let me start that again. The only way we're going to find out is by playing it, so let's give it a shot. Nice QWERTY. Nice super long delay on play. Pressing play. Burn Spirit away, good. Karnas understands burn your bigger cards first. Good. Excellent. We don't have to teach that lesson again. Temple at Delphi. Yeah, out of all of those, that's probably a pretty good start. You've got a lot of cards. You've got Deadman. So, yeah, absolutely. If you want to burn that, you don't really need the card draw. Oh, wow, no, yeah, he burnt Spirit. He should have burnt Seven Ring Ritual and played Iron Flesh. I didn't even see that. Yeah. Always build your board presence. If possible. Always. Yeah, I mean, look, no one plays Temple at Delphi, but if it's this is what I've got, it's a pretty, it's a pretty card, etc. And yeah, it's always hard to burn your best card. Yes, Calnus is probably looking at that going, ooh, it's sexy, I got a Prestige Mythic. He got that on, like, his first day, and it enraged me. But yes, yeah, there's definitely some, like, I don't want to burn that, but you should. That would go a long way to helping you here. This is also his first game in months. Magmator gets burnt. That goes down. Again, he should burn the 7 ring. He's not doing it, but he should. I would love to look at the mana curve for this deck, because we've got a lot of 3+. And that's just really brutal. Is there a reason he's not playing Dead Messenger? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Flip a coin if the thing on this dies? Oh, I mean, he's not playing it because he burnt up purple, but he shouldn't have. And yeah, that's a great point by So Watts as well. Burn another purple, get Sword Sand out for mana efficiency, get a Budding Blade into your head nice and early, absolutely. Laser's making a good point. Okay, so this is going to be the long match. This is the educational match, because we're going to impart a bunch of basics on you. And now I've completely forgotten the point I was going to make. Laser's pointing out that the earlier you burn a good card like that, the more likely you are to see it back, right? The decks in Mythgard often get shuffled quite a lot, just as part of the... You don't see it, but it does. Every time you ever look at a card or is revealed or something is put back. This is the third match of 3, but I do audience matches after this. But this is the third official match. The earlier you burn a card, like 7 Ring Ritual, the more likely you are to see it back. Right? And especially if you're running red, green, anything and have Pseudonomicon, just burn your big cards immediately, because the second you get that card, you can tutor for them. It's crazy. Oh, man. I thought I talked a lot in my normal streams. Doesn't play anything because his mana curve is wacko. Plays that out. When you're versing red, never clump. Magmator is one of the best AoE removals in the game. Don't do it. That should be over here or over there, because that only allows 2 block positions against it. Right? Wrong, actually. The decks almost never get shuffled. Really? Because every time there's a divination, it's shuffled? Oh, interesting. So if cards are revealed, they're shuffled into the deck, but the deck itself as a whole isn't shuffled. Interesting. There you go. Even I'm learning things. There you goddamn go. Plays that down, puts the Blighting Blade on there. Yes and no. It's a really weak body to be putting it on, and it's against essentially a rush, what is typically a rush template deck. This isn't a rush template. He's not a rush deck, but it's often enough that is a very risky move. I personally would definitely save it for something like a Terragon. Right? Because the Terragon with Overrun and a Biting Blade is stupid. Okay, burns Leprechaun, and that gets him a Strigoi Reaver. Yep, perfectly fine against this. Red, purple don't have lands that really buff outside of Neo Gangnam, or White Moon Arena if you're actually managing to get that piece of shit off. Here's a pro tip of the day: White Moon Arena is not a good card. So does something like Fires of Creation shuffle? The whole filtering for artifacts when you play a Forgeling? Goes for the 5 Spirit Gate. Now, I like me some 5 Spirit Gate in a mid-range ready purple thing. Absolutely. No, that's just Div 4. Okay, interesting. And yeah, that just goes to town. Just swings and kills both. He burns Red Carnival. That's a bit rough. I would have liked to see Red Carnival out. You know he's going to get a lot of value out of this. Minions are going to be coming back. So minions are going to be dying. So Red Carnival's probably pretty useful, right? I would be more inclined to burn something like, Stratagem 36. It's not a fantastic card. It has some situational uses, but at 40 cards, it's almost never being included. I would have preferred to burn that and play Red Carnival. This is very nice. I'm very interested to see. It's great with Trapezist. I'd also love to see if he has Fast Lane in deck, because Stubborn Tengu with Rush is hilariously good fun. 4-1 that returns back to your hand because it died before the start of your next turn because you rushed it and killed something with it. It is a 4-1 looping ballistic missile as long as you have Rush on it. It is hilarious. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Tengu is a spirit, yeah? So if you have Ninetail Vixen, if it does die at the end of your turn, and you have fucking Ninetail Vixen, it just goes back to your hand again. Fucking silly. There's not enough cards in the game to make a deck revolving around that super viable before anyone goes getting any crazy ideas. Plays a Misfortune, that trades in, fantastic. Goes to the graveyard, but you don't really care because you've taken care of a Terragon. Yes, the Terragon has returned a card through 5 Spirit Gate, but you're not really caring at this point. He plays down that, so he's going to get a lot of value out of this by just looping things constantly. He muttons that because he's scared of it. With things you've got coming out like Lantern Colossus, maybe you could have saved that for a different body. I think this is more just down to not knowing the cards. He could have saved it for something like a Magmator. He could have saved it for the vampire bitch that I can never remember the name of. He could have saved it for the 2/5 Spirit Lady, etc. Green-purple spirit deck can be a thing. I mean, currently I'm playing green-purple-red Stretcher Spirits, and it's hilariously good fun, and I'm convinced could genuinely be decent. I'm missing this chick, which would be amazing for it. It would be super helpful. No. No. You have a 4/4 with Agile and left tap, I think. Just put that there. Who cares about this? It's a 2/2. You take some damage. Hell, ignore it. It's 2/2. Don't waste a Magmator. Play that over here, and he will do one of two things. He will start playing over here, which means he's not generating value over that, out of that, or he will clump here, trying to race and avoid this, in which case you can Magmator for more than one. Right? Let's go. Swings with the sheep. Goes an Iron Flesh to block sheep, sure. Things like this means less damage in the long run, as long as he can also block something like that. But he has the Lantern, so he can go get himself a Terragon. These things are great if you're in a colour that ramps up with creatures. Purple is a great example of that. He's starting to have a lot of answers. The Misfortune early has helped. The Spirit Away has helped. If he'd had to start trading some of these things in 2-for-1, 3-for-1, which is what Purple kind of specialises in, yeah, things become a problem. Yeah, that goes down. That's a decent play. We're using... He's understood Alpha Strike as a mechanic there. He's gone, cool, I'll get you down to 1. I'll use the Alpha Strike. That's super beneficial to me. So now he's got to find an alternate way to deal with that if he wants to keep Magnetor on board. And if you are finding an alternate way of dealing with that, it's dealing with this rather than dealing with a Terragon, rather than dealing with a Lantern Colossus, etc. Right? That goes down. Now, I'll be interested as to whether he focuses that. Because a lot of new players will look at something like that and go, who cares? I have seen what this card can do. It is some horrifying shit if left unchecked. So I wonder if he's going to dedicate the proper resources to take care of it, because it is a goddamn problem. We see the Tengu come out again. Nothing here would have really changed any of that, so that's fine. I'm on board with basically all of that. We see Balance come out, draw 3 cards. Beautiful. Good time to do it. Terragon does go down to go deal with it. Absolutely fantastic. That is the wrong choice, because it goes back to hand, and I feel that's just not knowing the card. He should have swung it in there, because Tengu's not going to be able to kill it anyway. It still retains the Alpha Strike. You reckon putting the 4-1 there was a misplay? I mean, yeah, he's just kind of wasting resources. Oh, the 2-2 does have Cloak, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It does have Cloak. That's a good point. Yeah, he should have put the 4-1 here, honestly. He should have just ignored it. Again, it's a 2-2. You don't care. Once it's at a 3-4 with Life Tap and Alpha Strike, then it's an issue. But it's a 2-2. He should just be racing. He has a almost double health lead. He should just be popping it here and going to town. Right? Didn't need to dedicate that. He had Cloak. Very likely he's forgotten about that, but that's okay. This is newer player stuff. That's all right. Again, and this comes back to the rule 1, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look through, read through the effects on the board, read through what, Turn of Seasons is doing with Winter, do things have Slayer, do things have items attached, etc. Make the most informed decision you can by reading all the cards. So that wasn't needed there, right? Could have 100% gone here and done some damage. Should really keep Racer to be able to double Pearl and infuse and take care of it. Yeah, absolutely. Could keep it. Oh, if that doesn't deal with it, can Pearl, infuse, dead. But again, I feel this comes down to he feels pretty confident here. He doesn't believe that this is so much of a threat. He hasn't seen what 9 of these in hand do. Don't you start me. Oh yeah, he goes the Misfortune. He's got Rush down, and he's going to rush a goddamn Tengu in. Oh boy, let it begin. So. Sadly, there's really no way to keep that alive. There's no location he could put that would let it live and still deal with that with the Tengu. So you might as well take advantage, use the Tengu now rather than one of the spirits. Wait a minute, no, he had 4 mana, didn't he? He should, because of 5-6. spirit wouldn't have done it. That's a shame. Yeah, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, unfortunately, this is basically the only way to do what he's doing currently, and I agree with it. Sacrifice that to get that back. Sure, that dies. He's going to get a spirit. That dies. It'll take that with it. He'll get 2 spirits. Is it only your minions? I think he'll get 2 spirits. No, he'll get 1 spirit. It's only yours, isn't it? Yeah, it's only yours. He gets Misfortune back. That'll trade in there. You have a chance to kill this. Do it. No! You still have a chance to kill it. Do it. No! This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call not enough fear. Right? If he had just any other way, he needed to put... He could have done that over there. Pearl charged in. He still would have got a loop from it. That would be dead. I mean, you're running low on cards. He has a clear card advantage of these goddamn spirits that just keep looping. This needs to die. And, unfortunately, he's working himself further and further into a card disadvantage. Ooh. Even now, Racer into that would have been better because that's more damage. How much of this is being flustered, how much of this is new, etc. Like, this is some impressive damage, sure, but I still would have liked to see that there killed. Racer can go in there, dead. You can steal Spirit Gate if you'd wanted to. Lots you could have done. And then these can't deal with that because of Alpha Strike. Right? You could send this across the whole goddamn board hunting those little things. That comes in. He's using that for card draw. Decent enough choice. Absolutely fine. And he's going to start pinging the spirits. And now Countess is into the top decking, which is a huge problem. Now he's drawing things like Strigoi Pup, which just don't help here. Kills the Tengu. Yep. If anything, he maybe should have sacrificed that with the Wings of Abaddon. If you're not going to dedicate enough resources to kill it by now, you've basically just got to pray that you can race. Yeah. Magmator goes down with Misfortune. It's one of the better spot removals. Beautiful. Yeah. And that's it. That's the official... Like, he's been on the losing side for a while, but that is the official you've lost. That was the only thing keeping him in the game, unfortunately. He's now top decking onto 5 Spirit Gates, praying for some sort of loop. He gets a Lantern Colossus, which ain't too bad at all. Peach of Life could help. It's only getting 4. 4-1 Rush comes out. Caramba. Okay, hold on. Let's think. I very much think I would have preferred to just seen that Rush. At this point, killing that is pretty much pointless. I would have just liked to see that Rush in. You put a Lantern Colossus down here. You go... How have you burned... Oh, you can't go Immolation Cloak as well. I'd almost just prefer to see that than Immolation Cloak. Right? Or done the Lantern there, the Wings. I just would have put the Wings further away. I wouldn't even have switched their positions. Right? Because that can't come in and deal with that. I just would have put Wings there and just swung in. Cool, you're now at 7 health. You have a Lantern Colossus that you can't kill just with these. Well, you can kill just with these too, with the Misfortune. But, yeah. Right? Yeah. And this is alright. I haven't played this game for quite a while. Yeah, you can't win the value. He's got too much in hand. He's got 5 turns of chump blockings if he wants to, just in spirits, on top of card draw from this. This is still 100% winnable. You just need to rush for face. Okay, he gets Steam Bun. Good. Starts with the draw from Steam Bun, hopefully. Draw with the Steam Bun. Good lad. Battle Chef. At this point, that thing can go to hell. I don't care. what I would almost do is I would start putting these where I'm playing the majority of my minions over here to, because he has Misfortune, try and get rid of incoming hits. Whether that would work. But he puts that there as a block. It blocks as much damage as anything else. He gets armor 1 and regen, which makes up a little bit for the Misfortune. Puts a Squire Pike on. Puts an Immolation Cloak on. And the Immolation Cloak kills those. He needed to overrun. Right? Like, yes, you would take 5 damage from Misfortune. Unless he has a Magmator or a Rush minion, which he hasn't shown any Rush minions, or very little Rush minions, and he's already used 2 Magmators, which is all of them, he'd be 1 hit away. He would have to block with something. We can see those. We know he has a Tengu in hand. And all of his minions basically have had 1 health or 3 at most. He would have won if he had swung there. I think 5 damage. Even that wouldn't have killed it. He could have brought it across so that it was swinging into that. That probably would have kept him alive, but he would be praying for no Wings of Abaddon or no Wyvern or something like that. So this is always be swinging. So that goes there. That goes there. That goes there. Okay. Now, I feel like if I had to predict anything, he's going to forget that has Warded, and that Warded interferes with Cloak. Hello? Game? Well, not game, but video, please. There we go. Yeah, and he swings through the middle. Needed to swing through there, because then the Thingo would have helped. Thingo would have saved him. Like, you could still do that, you know? He needed to get that off, which means he actually would have gotten the return because this wouldn't be suppressed. Those 2 would die to the Immolation Cloak. Then he could peach a life. It's simply a targeting error there. And Misfortune hits that. That hits it. Yeah, he literally would have won if he'd attacked the turn before. And yes, infused with overrun minions is another great point. Damn. He actually had it so close. For as many mistakes as he made, he actually had that so close. Yeah, and this is top decking into nothing now, and he knows it. Oh, shame, my boy. That's a racer. Oh, Fallen Spirit for the kill. Yeah, fair enough. If you've got it for 1 game out of 50, why don't you? Not too bad at all. Counter should have won. He should have won a good couple of turns earlier if he hadn't made a few of the mistakes he'd made. And I feel like that comes down to a lot of decisions. But Syke's deck isn't fantastic. I like that you got a ton of use out of her. I don't begrudge you having her in a red deck, red-purple, go these spirits. You can use them to trade up with Misfortune. Like, really enjoyable deck, but there are cards in that I would take out. Right? Like, Stratagem 36, you just don't need. Get it out of here. If you don't have Fast Lane and you really like this deck, focus on getting it. The Dashing Rune Masters are good. The Magmators are great. You needed to play things like this. The life tap on the Vampire would have really, really helped. And, you know, you're not playing that instead of things. We pointed that out earlier. You're not burning Stratagem 36. You're burning, you know, Red Carnival. Red Carnival, you would have won the game. Think about how many things died, right? Think about how many of those spirits died and got resummoned. Look how many you had in hand at the end of the game. Now, think about that with the Red Carnival buff. Shit's nutty. Oh, yeah, absolutely. All of this comes with a caveat. And I said this at the start, right? Like, these aren't your players. This is all down to collection. I'm just saying, as your collection grows, if you really like this deck, you want to keep growing it, these are the things to consider, you know? This is at no point like, Peasant doesn't have, you know, 100% of all except for Mythics and... I mean, we're not you. We're not all Mr. 100% across the board. Yeah, this is the instance we were talking about. Play the vampire instead. Don't play that to get rid of one. Because it forces essentially two choices out of Calnus that you could have dealt with that Magmator the turn later. It was a fun game to watch, though. Lots of mistakes, but it was educational. We got to point out a lot of things. And it's these games that are going to help people learn a lot. Whereas the last game, it was basically, these are two good decks. These are two reasonably good players. This is how you play against a deck type. Had a guy, Stratagem 36 is Armageddon Angel twice, and I Temptationed it for lethal. Wow. Alright. That is very much a fringe case. You are not going to have that in a usual bloody game. I'll tell you that right now. But hey, it was interesting. Right? It was better than normal. It was fun. So I am not opposed to that in the slightest. Very nice. Well, let me take a quick note of that. Psych wins for 2 packs. Calnus wins for 1, loses for 1 pack. And that is that. Okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the official matches for the Academy. I want to thank Laser again for coming along, doing the guest commentary there. That was extremely awesome of him, and just all the champion players that are coming along and helping. For that is wonderful. I want to thank everybody again for participating. Now, I am going to have a word with Rhino about getting some more codes so that I can run this every week. If I can't, after this, it's going to have to go to every fortnight if I want to continue the current prize support format. So, in the Discord, if you have any thoughts about whether this needs to have less prize support so that I can do it every week with some prize support, or if you just don't give that much of a shit about prize support and I should just do this every week regardless, let me know in the Discord. I really need to know these things. I do the call to action and then not a lot of people have a chat. I need to know if this is worth it to you guys without the prize support, really. So do join the Discord. It's down in the tabs below. Just click the picture, or there's links everywhere. Anyway, now I will take... We've got another good while where I am happy to take in any matches that people would like me to watch. Again, I would prefer it as bronze, silver, or gold players. If you have a match in your replay you would like me to go look at, go pick it out for me. Just tell me where it is, and I will go look at it. Now, I'm going to try for the 3rd time to get this goddamn match. We had a match sent to me by user TK that would love his match to be watched. We might have to do it something shoddy like on YouTube or something, because he's provided me a YouTube link for it. It's just going to take me a quick moment or two to set up, so hold on to your butts and have a chat. Perfect time to ask questions. Oh, and for me to have a drink. Let me think. How can I do this without flashing all of my messy desktop to you? You can turn it into studio mode. If we move that down and put it there, and we grab this, and we like that, that. Alrighty. And now, if I do that. Boom. Alright, that takes us to the video. You wanted to buy codes for me. Well, unfortunately, it's not possible to buy codes. I feel like Rhino will probably support this event. I mean, at the end of last stream, Aether was suggesting I just go have a word with Rhino, and by the amount of viewers we have and the people supporting this, I don't think we're going to have much of a problem with it. Alright, so this has been sent to us by TK. So we've got a Gold 5, level 18 isn't bad for that rank, my man. Hasn't spent a lot of money on the game. So we're not expecting a hugely extensive collection, especially at that level. Not much cash. His favourite card is Balance, so I'm not expecting the best game. I'm joking, TK. I love you. I'm sorry. Well, I asked if they could, I could buy codes, and they didn't let me. They just gave me codes. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, so he's versing Crimson. We didn't see any details on Crimson, and we've got... Okay, very interesting. Yellow-green. Now, has he sent me any details? Any information? Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Now, this is an 11-minute game, so this could take a while. Okay, here's the blurb I got from TK. Yeah, it went extremely long. I was way out of my element. I definitely made a ton of mistakes, okay? So we are teaching here. He's making a ton of mistakes. He wants to know what went wrong. Some of it due to not having played too long, we can see that, and still being unfamiliar with certain card interactions, but also just a ton of mistakes. I don't think I will be watching it back, but I think I could learn a lot from it. Awesome. He's here to learn. This is exactly the mentality I want to see, you know? He goes on, he's saying he's at work when I'm live. Ghosting uploads. Awesome. Fantastic. And then just some blatant flattery about the Academy. Excellent. Always good to feed the ego, right? Always fantastic. And we see an incubation chamber, lads. Yeah! I've given up on that fucking card as well. I am dead after yesterday. Can't do it. I am dead. One moment. Just going to send a quick message. As soon as my phone decides it wants to work. This is what happens when you use several generation old phones. Boom. Alrighty. Now we got to deal with cat hair. Fun. So, we've got a green-yellow big boy deck. It's not disc, which is weird. It's not something like Boneyard Abomination, Dire Benediction. So we could just be looking at something like Volition. Tangle Skein is weird in that sort of thing, though. I don't know. But we've got Meso Libre, so good, he knows control. Good, he knows the best card draw in the game. Good, he's using Clay Effigies. Overkill is not a good card, don't use it. It's not terrible, but it's also not great. I guess if you're using things like Boneyards and Tangle Skeins, I guess you do have a lot of cards without native Overrun. So, yeah, sure. And what have we got on the other side? We've got purple-yellow, but it's zesty. We've got Respawn, which is meh. We've got Perfect OP. These are meh, unless you're going some sort of control-y deck. Spirit Away, Simmerson? Yeah, Simmerson. And Thriving Shade. At least you've got the double 4/2s, right? So you are going to cause a bit of confusion there. The incubation chambers, sure. And he's got a couple of decent cards for the green-yellow. So, alrighty, let's hit play and see what happens. Simmerson comes out first, as expected. That's a bit goddamn loud. People that play with full audio on video games. Clay Effigy goes down for the block. Sure. Absolutely. Okay, that goes down. Yep. He doesn't get a 2 there. Again, I'd love to see the mana curve of his deck. He doesn't really have a lot here. That goes down. Yeah, get the Born Again train going early. Absolutely. That clears the board a bit. I mean, yeah. Yeah, sure. I don't know what the point of the rainbow and that is with purple-yellow. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of snakes. We haven't seen tangle skeins or anything like that. It's more that tangle skein is better used in other decks. Snakes and spiders, it's not something you'd typically combine with like a volition green-yellow. Collarbot goes down, he impels. Sure. Takes the trade, gets the one ramp. He burns and goes thriving early. Good fake out into future mimics. Tech plays it. Cruel Tech. Alright, I'm a shut up then. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad card. It's just I have very rarely... Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's looking for the 2-for-1, but that's going to go 6-6, so... Unfortunately, there's actually just nothing he can really do here that kind of deals with it. It's better in more value-oriented yellow-green if your deck focus a bit less on the Abomination OTK. Okay, sure. So it's Abomination OTK with a backup plan. So it's less funneled into the one win con. Alright. I don't like Night Market in this. Why is Night Market here? Right? Why is Night Market the thing you're... Like, sure, if you want to use that to fish for, like, incubation chambers, and you've got a bunch of other worthwhile enchantments in there. Yeah. But wouldn't you rather see a snake, or a Benimi, or a Goliath, or... You know, anything. Yeah, reconstruct for free, compass for draw. I mean, yeah. Yeah, Snake Den, definitely, yeah. I guess it depends what else is in the deck. I just don't get reconstruct with Rainbow if you're not running blue for Root of the World. I get Root of the World with reconstruct, and I get Giant Stairway with reconstruct, or Demolition Speedway with reconstruct. You could free reconstruct onto that to get another thing for draw, I guess, but that's 3 mana, you know? But it's also conditional, that's the thing. It's a random I just don't like the card. If you have Incubation Chamber, I assume Glass Whip, especially with Ramen. Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah, he goes in here, that dies. He stuns it again. Does he go for the trade now? He doesn't need to, is the big thing there, and he doesn't. His turn's not over. Play effigy for card draw. Look, this isn't the deck you really need to worry about it until 8. But it's just good practice. Please don't clump as much as you can. Just put that somewhere else. Right? If you're reversing red, put it somewhere else so you're a bit more immune to rush. Or put it somewhere else so that when fucking Perfect Grade drops, it can't just sweep 3 minions. Perfect Grade has the highest possible drop damage in the game just based on 1 card. Right? 6 damage in 3 lanes. 18 damage on the drop. Magmator is second to that. Right? Put it on the chamber. Yeah, you could have put that on the chamber just to fucking stop him getting anything worthwhile on it. Because I imagine that's going to get Celestialed. He heals that. Emperor Koi. I love that this is the deck we were literally trying to do last night. Maybe we go re-explore it. Just not with Night Market and not with Reconstruct. Definitely should have put Thriving Shades in it. He takes the swing there. He Misanthropias, so that's dead. That'll be reduced to 1. Don't get any of that, but okay. I mean, it makes not a ton of difference, but... Actually, would have made... No, it still doesn't make a difference. Wouldn't have made a difference. Attacking with Born Again is... Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, to get it back. Instead of waiting for it to die to the Misanthropia and then... Yeah, alright. I wonder if that was a thought or if it was a this is dead anyway, might as well swing it. Without him here in the chat, that's a little hard to tell. But if that was the play, good on him. So Corn gets played down. That goes down. That's no longer stunned. It'll get Missoned right back down to where it was, though, which isn't helpful. Ikuturso goes down to stop him doing his thing. Fantastic. Like, really, really well. Just kind of lucky that he's drawn that in time for it. Compass into balance, so he's made sure he's drawn at least something he wants a little more. He's burning that. He'll get a Mimic down. That'll prompt an attack on it, ideally. And if it doesn't, he gets a 7/7. Yeah, beautiful. What did we lose? We didn't lose Traitorous Murmur, which is super lucky, but we did lose Graveyard and Corn. The Graveyard's not ideal. Yeah, losing the Abomination is a huge issue. At this point, you're really hoping you run Wake the Bones. That goes through, kills that. He gets Ring of Eternity. He puts Ring of Eternity on Iku. Good lad. Not ideal against purple because Jinsuk is so prevalent. It's the reason Master of Shadows... it's kind of like the Eidolon situation. Eidolon isn't a super valuable card as soon as you see Impel. Master of Shadows isn't a super valuable card as soon as purple hits 5. And in this case, like, he should be thinking, right, very possible there's a Jinsuk in hand, maybe I don't do it. But he's taking that risk. And moves that so it can't swing, okay. It's stunned anyway, but yep. And that kills that. Yep, there it is, yeah. Yep. Oh, nani? Nani? So he's gone into... Wait. Because Spring doesn't heal the minion, so it's not like... Wait, but it wouldn't even... What? Wow! That is fucking unfortunate. Hence these reactions. It was reported on Reddit. It's this game. Wow! What a game to show! Fuck oath. Well, that's certainly not... 21 that is new to this game, that is not meant to happen. Jinsuk is one of the best ways around Immortal, because if something hits 0 health, it is dead. Immortal doesn't stop that, Immortal stops combat damage. Right? And destroy effects. It does not stop stat reductions, and if a stat hits 0, if the health stat hits 0, it's dead. Right? It is the best way around it. Hey, no analysis is a waste. Traitorous is that. Nerfs that. Gets as much overrun as he can. It's a reasonable point, right? It stops health loss from any source, not only combat. Well, not any source because negs still count. But yes, an actual, like, damage negative to it rather than a reduction negative, yeah. It's kind of hard to, like, differentiate with language. That's a reduction negative, like we're just saying. Burns Night Market, goes Hotel. So what actually got rid of it in the end there? Oh, he Spirited Away it, didn't he? Yeah, 100%. Shouldn't have had to do that, but that he had it on hand is good. Very low on cards. Alright, I'm kind of getting Night Market. That's a decent amount of items. I wonder if this is Hoarding Hero. Yeah, mate. No, even for native English speakers, differentiating the two is a pain in the ass. Powerful Ramen, Reconstruct. Okay, yeah, absolutely. He doesn't have a lot of tempo on board, but that's just going to reduce it, you know? But then he's applying pressure to it, so we'll probably... Yeah. That's a great draw. Good. He's doing the... If you have the ability to draw for free, do it always first. Corn, what's the one yellow called? Clay Effigy. That is so cheap, it's... You would usually do that first. You know, Steam Buns, if you have them and have the mana spare. Always do that sort of stuff first in case it changes your options. Okay, that'll go down on that. Yep. He'll start reduce that, which keeps that alive. So that's actually really good for him. That goes down. That's still stunned. That swings there. Does not a lot. That gets buffed. That gets buffed. That'll swing there. Oh, he's even going to make it survive, which is nice. So super, super positive trade for Crimson. This is looking fairly insurmountable. If you're in Crimson Boots, you're feeling pretty good. But then you got to remember Misanthropia is a goddamn card. And he doesn't have a lot of cards in hand. He doesn't have things to catch up with. His card draw isn't sensational outside of, like, Divination, the Compass, and Rainbow and all that. And he's got Wonder Drug, and he's got Revelation. Like, TK is sitting very pretty at the moment. Yeah. And that's to be expected. Surely he remembers to move that. Yes, good lad. Alright. That kills that. Good. So we're not seeing what we saw last week in the Academy. He is moving across, making sure that he swings, that he's getting it down to that 3 threshold so that the Misanthropia takes care of it. Beautiful. Well done. He's saying there's a lot of mistakes. I'm not seeing a ton that I would criticize him for yet. That goes down. That's dead, so that's safe. That's fine. That's not all dead. He's going to stop a damage or 2 to face, which is, yeah, sure. Yep. Oh, that's a huge problem. Oh, if that survives, he is in a lot of fucking problems. Oh boy. Oh boy, you want that dead real quick. He goes for that again. Beautiful. That goes there. I mean, he could rush and hope he just draws ways to deal with this. Right? Maybe you'd want to put it there if he swings. Yeah, depends what he does with this other one. Is he going for the rush or is he... Okay, he's stunning that and he's just keeping it pinned down. Okay, so he's going for a race. At this point, he's like, right, I can outrace you. He doesn't realize that's a thriving shade on a fucking incubation chamber. That'll finish Corn. Love it. He ramens, he gets Reconstruct for free, he gets Block. It's overrun, but it's 1 less damage. Again, if you win by 1 health, it makes no difference. 2, if you win by 41 health. Yeah, it's a hollow back, which is a super shit draw. Revelation of Zimak to start. Short stack. Other twin, and he hasn't burnt this turn either. Goes Benimi and Enchant Eater. That is 100% the scarier one. You probably want to get it in range of that. But he's trying to keep it out of range of this, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, sure. It's a very large body. Yeah, you wouldn't put it there because that's killing it, but then, yeah, that's unfortunate. This is difficult to deal with. This is not good news bears for anybody. Short stack slows that down a lot. What the fuck did he just do? No. Alright, so here's... You say you've done a lot of errors. Here's your first big one. You have 11 and 6, so that is a 17 damage to minion swing there, right? Short stag can maximum take 6 from the two of them. You are more than halving their damage on a minion that gets to bring something back, and you're trading that in for the ability to stun one thing for 3 turns. That ain't it, Chief. I would have just played the short stag dead opposite the Thriving Shade. You've already seen him burn a spirit away. Very unlikely he has a second. It's outside of mutton range. He doesn't have enough yellow for vicious. He doesn't have enough for Misanthropia or anything crazy like that. Yeah, like Alexandra is saying, you need to get rid of the overkill there. The overkill's not helping you. That is. If you lose this game, I'm putting it down to this situation right here. At the moment. Bella comes out on Benimi, you get a little health from it, you stun that, sure. You put that there to block the Lantern Colossus, you're going to put the other one there to block. Yep, okay, sure. Ho! Ho! He drew the fucking spirit away, are you serious? Or no, he had it in hand. Nope, he fucking drew it. Inadvertently, you made completely the right call. Completely the right call. I mean, burning it wasn't the right call, not playing it wasn't the right call. As Lazar's saying there. Okay, you put respawn on that, you swing through, sure. I don't know. I almost think the shade would have been... Oh no, that helps a lot. Yeah, I guess. Sure. Heals it. Yeah, it's kind of beautiful. Gets another blocker. There's no overrun. Alright, look. I'll put my hands up and say he's generating a ton of value out of that Reconstruct and Ramen. I'll put it out there right now. Sapo's nice. Sure. I guess. Goes in Sapos. Kills that. What did Bella do? You could have played the Hollow as a +2/+2 in Sapo. That's a great use for a Hollow. Hollow's a shithouse. That would have been a great idea. Put a Hollow down and then fucking get yourself some more stats. Perfect suggestion from SoWhat's there. I mean, yeah, he's using it to mitigate a little damage there. So Bella just doesn't stun that and lets itself get killed? Yeah, Bella literally didn't use an ability that turn. That gets spirited away. Yep. And that just dies because you didn't stun with it. So that is your second mistake. The second major mistake that I would pick. Again, just reducing 1 damage each time, absolutely fine. Did she use cost reduction? We're going back. Oh, yeah, she did. Okay. She should have stunned. No 1 cost reduction is worth not stunning a 6-4. Whoa. Oh. Let's go here. Okay, Wonder Drugs. Please don't Wonder Drug outside of Threshold. Just don't. Please. Stop. Please. You could have Zolied or something, man. Like, impel that across. Just take the trade. Then put a Zolia here as well. You reckon Wonder Drug is correct here, really? Losing that much potential health and a second card draw is worth it. Alright. Alright. I personally wouldn't have, but apparently I'm being told to shut the fuck up by enough champions that I'm and keep playing the video. And he drew Troll Stag from it, so 100% worth. But if that had been a Collarbock, video has lost a bit of quality and it's not me, so. Here's at 23, you'd need to intentionally hit yourself in the face to get Wonder Drug up. I mean, yeah, so maybe because he's got this much of a health lead, you just go for the card draw, essentially. Alright, sure. Perfect grade, the ultimate fucking counter to Short Stag, bye. That's just unfortunate, he had the perfect card to deal with Short Stag there. It's just super unfortunate for you, friend. That goes through and hits that, that goes through and hit that. Oh, there we go. We've got the goddamn volition for the fucking boneyard. All he needs is that dead. 8. Not what I expected. I feel like he could have just played the twins, forced him to trade it. Yeah, you get a decoy. And no overrun. This is 100% why he has the overkill in the deck. Like, I do get it. That is not a lot of health left. He's really hoping, at this point, that Wonder Drug hits something useful. He needs overrun or some way to get rid of these two. We go Tangle Skein there as a big blocker. Sure, that'll do. Problem is there is he gets the energy to do 4. That goes through for kills that. But he's gonna, what, Goliath's Web there? Better choice would actually be here. To the left of Tangle Skein. Wonder Drugs, okay. Also fair. Gets the fucking volition. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, any creatures put there and there would just be killed by the ping. I don't know why I didn't pick that up. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, you're putting these to the side of that. Stop that if it is unblocked, but it's not. So that's okay. 2 cards left in deck. Oh, Jesus. Holy shit. Really hope for him he had more overrun in the deck. Yeah, let's look. Let's pray for the poor man. Oh, Budding Blade on fucking... Yeah, perfect OP. Oh, that isn't great. That could be it right there. Bald Mountain goes and grabs Overkill. That's game. Oh, not by a lot. Not by fucking much. What a draw. What a draw. One off Bald Mountain, and he just happens to go through his whole deck on the last possible fucking turn. What a clutch. What a fucking clutch. Thank you for submitting that game, because that was some spicy shit. Bullshit. Fuck bullshit like that. I love how not only is it like your most hated mechanic in this game, it was done in the most like last ditch top deckiest bullshit way. That is incredible. That was amazingly done, sir. Well fucking done. That was it's the kind of shit I live for. Man, that Ikuturso bug was weird though. Nani? That was fucking weird. Whew. I need to see that one more time. Oh, fucking hell. This one's going in the wank bank, boys, honestly. And he hits fall. So many things had to line up. It's impossible to tell. It went so many turns. Possibly... I mean, he had to trade in a reasonably large body. It could have been enough damage to kill. But to be honest, if he just skipped playing Overrun when he did, he would have won earlier. I mean, yeah, sure. Don't overrun on a fucking thing, but yes. But the fact that through the slimmest of chances, he actually manages to get it back. Holy shit. He must have been this whole time just like, Bald Mountain, please, you're in the deck. Hurry the fuck up. There it is. Bald Mountain under the Hollow. The Hollow saved the game. Overkill. Takes depletion. No one gives a fuck. Overrun. Volition. Overrun. Literally, if he didn't have Volition in hand, he would have died. If he didn't hit fall, it wouldn't have died. Right? Because he double drew off getting fall. If he hadn't gone through 100% of his deck, he was dead. On that specific turn. If he hadn't kept a Volition in hand, he would have died. He could tap the 4/4 with 2/1 to make over 19 and leave all that. Oh, true, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He could have put one more creature in the graveyard. Yeah, good point. Still some zesty shit. It's so much better than just watching, like, red-orange just roll over your face for, like, the 10th game in a row. Oh. Whew. Oh, seeing the whole deck, you actually think it's Tech's full-blown list? That would make a lot of sense. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is me out of matches to stream. I've probably got time for one or two more. If you are a bronze, silver, gold player that would like to see one of your matches commentated, hit me up. Get up on in there. We'll hide that, and that brings us back to that. We'll close that, and that should bring us back to the game. Woo! The Enchant Eater is also in text list. Interesting. Okay. Alright. Well, we'll give it a few minutes, see if any of the bronze or goldies want to step up and offer themselves to the judgment. Oh, that was a good academy. That was enjoyable. Oh, itchy. Man, oh man, oh man. Not today, you won't. Ah, not feeling brave today. Alrighty, well, in that case, I'll just go make sure I haven't got any others. The Academy, extra submission, no one has submitted any there. Haven't had any games that I didn't instantly know what I did wrong. Videos can actually hear the commentary on mine. Yep. Alright, in that case, that might be where we call the Academy for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming along and showing the support as always. It is always super cool to have you guys here. And, all the Champion and Mithril players, all the partners for coming along and helping me commentate and offer advice. Everybody for submitting their matches, etc. Academy will be on next week. Whether it will be with prizes or not remains to be announced. I'm going to have to go talk to Rhino to see if I can essentially double the pack support I get to support the event. A few other things. There will be a poll going up very shortly of the 6 matches through the fortnight. First, second, and third of the most interesting match or the best player, etc., etc. Will get a 10 code pack. Second and third will get a 5 code pack, just to encourage good players. Or if you think someone just deserves, there's a super new player and you want to give him codes, you can vote them. You can organise it however you want within sort of the Academy community there. I will be back with an Academy next week, which means sign up starts right now, right this second. You get a head start on even the announcement, which will go up in the chat very shortly. So if you want to sign up, go to the Academy General chat. You know the details. I need your name. I need your time zone. In-game name. Also, please, people, could we change our Discord names to match our in-game name? That'd make things so much fucking simpler for me. That would be a real treat. Once again, I want to thank Laser for doing the commentary. It is awesome to have the support of people like him on board, and to even teaching me things, and I'm not hosting the fucking show. Like, come on. Otherwise, I will catch you all probably next week. My weekend is very busy, so I will be catching you Tuesday and then Thursday again for the Academy. VODs should be out probably more like tomorrow this time around. Thank you very much once again, everybody, for coming along, and I will catch you next time.